looking?
1, 2.
Okay. It's a good thing I kind of stopped in our tracks because everything was okay. Intro. Hey guys, how's it going? Oh boy, it's a train wreck because so one, we do multi streams, right? Two, almost forgot. Actually, well, I did forget to like go live on YouTube side. So that's why I had to do a makeshift. That's why I had to make a makeshift intro for everybody. I hope you enjoyed that improvised like intro. And then third, and on my Stream Deck automations, unmuting Discord did not activate, so I had to double check with you, Mark, if your audio was still going through, and I had to manually like unmute it. So we're all over the place. Hey guys, how's it going? My name is Justin.
Mark.
And welcome back to this is episode 559 of DangIT Prodcast. Aside from that huge number, we are still like newborns as far as the platform of like podcasting, live streams, and etc. It is essentially no man's land no matter where we go.
Truly still living up to the age-old amateur professionals.
Professional amateurs. We can't even get that right. What are we doing?
Hey, Scuff adds character.
You ain't digging holes. You're building character. I'm tired of this, Grandpa.
What ass too damn bad?
Keep digging. Okay, well, I will let everybody know that this is relatively I think it's arguable and debatable that it feels kind of like a not so eventful like week as far as like gaming news and whatnot, but Mark did just tell me about what's it called actually? Digimon. Is it really called
Digimon Expo?
Oh, Expo. Okay, I thought you were gonna like. I keep thinking about Digimon Con, but that's a bias thing because I'm just thinking about like the other cons that I go to that are just dubbed Con.
Right.
Digimon Expo. Gotcha. You know what? Let's start with that one. That's kind of improvised too. Tell me a little bit more about Digimon Expo.
As far as I'm aware, it is the expo where people will go for the latest news regarding certain things, the latest Digimon products, the latest Digimon news. Of course, they'll be showing off Digimon Elysian, the upcoming mobile card game. They're also going to be showing off more stuff for Digimon Time Stranger, which comes out in, 2 weeks.
2 weeks? I do know about that, yeah.
Actually, it's coming on October 3rd.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Maybe like a week and a half, maybe.
I mean, well, technically that like October 3rd would be like the full 2 weeks, but yeah, it's fine. It's kind of within the ballpark.
Right, and of course, like I've gone and I played the Time Stranger demo, really like it. I could have kept grinding it since the data goes to your file, but I was like, I don't want to burn myself out on it before it even comes out.
And to be fair, I feel like a lot of demos don't really, unless they're crazy like a certain like Dragon Quest demo, you're not gonna spend too much time on it, right? Not too much.
Oh, with this one you could grind evolving and de-evolving just to make sure you can get all the rookies for when you start.
Interesting. Okay. Well, I guess
at least majority of them.
I do appreciate when they decide to experiment a little bit more as far as demos. I think a lot of people have been doing that for Sonic Racing Cross Worlds. The demo came out recently, and the full game's coming out like next week, I think. So I've just been seeing clips of people just doing like rival interactions and just seeing what's the customization for that one and to what extent. There was a funny one where I think you're racing as Charmy or Shadow. It's like vice versa, but they have an interaction between each other. And then like I think Charmy was just kind of like berating Shadow for being such like a such a downer here and there, or like not so like happy go lucky. And then Shadow's over here like, Maria, I promised Maria that I would protect all living things. That includes you, unfortunately. That's your only saving grace. I was like, Shadow. And then there's one with Omega. and your rival's Hector or Vector, excuse me. And he just like goes down the list of like profiling Vector, like this Vector unable to pick up like cases, clues, and dates. So we're like, that last one was a little too far. I think my favorite one though is like cream and cheese, and they have something for like Vector where it's like, Mr. Vector, Mom will be really happy if I win. And Vector's like,
Really happy
did
if I
you?
win.
What am I supposed to do with that?
What are you going to do with this? What do you think I'm going to do with this?
Move, Charmy. That's my favorite. No, I think that was like earlier on when people had access to the open beta. But actually, that is just a quick side tangent. This is not going to take too much time. But the fact is that I think I've been seeing a lot of reviews for Sonic like Racing Cross Worlds, and it's actually pretty high up there. So I mean,
I'm expecting it would be. It is Sonic after all.
Well, that's the funny thing, because when you say it like that, I usually think the opposite.
I mean, I thought Sonic games usually here's the thing, even if they're hated, they're still loved.
I mean, like, as far as the core fan base, like, to be sure, yeah, that includes me. But like,
obviously, like, think about this. People fucking hate Sonic 06. But guess what?
One.
A lot of people still fucking play Sonic 06.
Mark, stop cussing, please.
You are right. I apologize. I will.
Okay. But go on.
But yes, but Sonic 06, a lot of people don't like Sonic 06. A lot of people still play Sonic 06.
Well, actually, that's kind of a shocker. I would not touch Sonic 06.
That's also because that's because a lot of fans made a fixed version of Sonic 06.
Oh, that's true. You know what? The fans really do it for like the series, for sure. But like, I kind of go based
on sailor mouth.
But the thing is that like critically, they're not too well received, or at least rather we're kind of in a weird transitional period where like they're getting like better and better. Besides Sonic, I think Superstars, that was one that was kind of like in the fair. I think.
But Sonic Heroes, am I right?
Sonic Heroes is good, but it was also like a train wreck too.
I was going to say, it depends on who you ask, I feel.
It depends on which platform you played it on.
What platform was it good on?
GameCube. So the PlayStation 2 like posse out there, those who represent, they know the struggle. Apparently, it was just like, it's just one of those things where like back in a Game Grumps episode, they talked while they were playing through Sonic Heroes. Someone privately emailed them, reportedly someone like from that original team who developed the game, and at that time there were just a load of like bugs to a point where like I think management like told them that like, or their lead told them like, hey, if it isn't like game breaking, don't even worry about it. We need to release this game.
Now allow me to throw a wrench in the works and say Sonic Forces.
Sonic Forces was okay, I think. Sonic Forces is also like reviewed as okay. Like you can ask someone if they like it, and they might say yes. Quite a few of them would probably say no.
I imagine we get some points because you can make your Sonic OC in it, I'd imagine.
I think that's a nice little thing for like those who want to make an OC, but as far as the gameplay involved in that mixing into like the gameplay mechanics, that's a no-go, I don't think. I think on a personal level, I think that Sonic Forces, and this has come from someone who has been like, who steered clear from Sonic Forces because of those reviews. I look at that as like a game that seems to take itself a little too seriously. It's definitely a direction that they wanted to go for. I also like some music tracks in Sonic Forces, but there's a lot of them that are just a little bit more experimental, like that I don't really like.
Honestly, Frontiers really was the comeback Sonic game for sure.
I think for most, yeah. I'm also in that crowd where it's like I really loved Sonic. Wait, why did I just blank on the name?
But, I mean, especially Frontiers music. Sheesh.
You know what? I like the music, like generally speaking. I'm still kind of like in like the rock era. That like I felt like that was peak, but that's just like the like almost the old boomer me like speaking from there. That's definitely a
I mean,
bias
definitely is
thing.
still in that. It definitely still fits into that wheelhouse.
Yeah. But even then, like even like amongst us, I think Phil, and granted, Phil played like the Switch version. He didn't like it.
Phil didn't like. Oh, he didn't like Frontier. Really?
Like maybe he said it was okay, but otherwise it's not up there. He still really loves Generations, but everyone and their mother loves Generations.
Especially
So
everyone loves Generations, though.
yeah, I definitely had a hard time playing through Generations like Xbox version. Like there was some input delay on my end, like playing it like the 360 version through like Xbox series. Like it was just weird for me. But I think Generations cross shadow Generations, that made sense. That worked. And to be fair, like they cooked with that. Not
They
only
cooked.
not only did they give Shadow more like characterization, but like his levels like were pretty good as far as like a design wise, it was really good. But yeah, I guess I keep referring to, kind of like trailing off of like the GameCube era into like that console generation transition to like 360 PlayStation 3 where you had some hard hitters like here and there, but they were kind of scarce among like a sea of like not so great, maybe like just fair reviewed games. But I felt like recently Sonic games have been kind of like on the up and up, with some like hits in between. I am thinking about Sonic Forces. I'm also thinking about Sonic like Superstars. Um, but Sonic Racing has been reviewed so far as pretty good. Even like when it wasn't called Sonic Racing, like it was a Sega Superstars or something like that. I think those racing games have been pretty fair. Naturally, those to get like a lot of also was hold on, wait. Was this supposed to be like a very soft tangent? But like, oh my god, dude.
Proper fashion, bro. It's like I can feel Gabe's spirit here right now.
Ugh. It's giving it's giving me the heebie-jeebies just thinking about like a visualization of like Gabe just like with both hands like hold on over like my shoulders, just peering out.
He's like, hey.
He's saying, "Don't struggle." I'm like, "Please help."
He said, what up, big dog?
Hey, what's up, big cat?
That is something he would say.
But yeah, so TLDR, like the reviews for Song Race has been like really good. So very good. Good
That's
hear from
good.
that. I haven't played the demo myself. I only played like that open network like earlier from before. But sorry y'all. I wanted to actually talk about the Demon Slayer movie, and I will let you all know I do want to talk spoilers. I do really want to talk spoilers. I'm going to give it the grace that like it's already been out for like more than a week. So, I'm just going to let
Yeah.
myself like speak about spoilers, and if anyone doesn't want to hear it video wise,
You got 5 seconds.
but I'll give you a hand gesture like this to say that we're done talking about spoilers. So go ahead and scan that video bar like in post as far as like the VODs, and you should be okay. But I got some stuff to say about the Demon Slayer movie. Not like anything crazy. But as far as like initial
It was pretty fire.
impressions, I think animation cannot be beat at this point. Like they just continue to like improve, and given the conception of like it being the Infinity Castle is like really, really like good as far as
Dun,
like I mean
dun,
I
dun,
can
dun, 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 dun.
I can only imagine that like that was probably like some of the hardest stuff that they may have had to like done for this movie.
Just
It's
having to
just
flash the scenes.
so many scenes, so many moving pieces, and like maybe you can like get away with it by making them like 3D models, but to like animate them the way they do is still like really
Some of it,
impressive.
I'd imagine a good portion of at least doing the animations for the Infinity Castle itself was a combination of 3D modeling with 2D animation over it.
Fair enough. That's how you have to get by. But even then, like some like I would even say the vistas that you would see like here and there, like were really, really impressive. And it kind of like when you look at that kind of stuff, you kind of can't help but like really think about the sheer depth of like this infinity world. It's like
Not to just mention how much of a visual upgrade this entire movie was from the actual manga.
it really is though. They really just like had full liberties as far as creating like not just like the characters and animation, but just like also really just putting detail over the world.
On top of that, the music. Ooh.
Okay, yeah. So again, like animation is like super smooth. Like no one can really like do it like Ufotable
It was
sometimes.
pretty fire for the animation.
Yeah, Ufotable just like they do something different with like their
They
animation.
got that Fate budget.
Yeah. Did you know about that too? Or was that just like
Yeah,
okay, just making sure.
that's
Music.
what I would imagine. If it's Ufotable, they work on Fate. Trust me, they have
Yeah,
budget.
yeah, yeah. They have a very specific like style, and I think it's like it's just very cinematic how they do it, and
Oh
I
yeah,
I
for
really
sure.
appreciate that. Ever since like seeing Unlimited Blade Works, I was like, okay,
Oh,
all right, you
especially
got me.
like everyone knew they did great with Fate, but Demon Slayer is like what really made them go like, oh.
And the fact is that they d- they made a full running like and well, I mean granted they also did the same thing with Fate Stay, but like I feel like Ufotable like is in their bag when it comes to like movies. But
Oh yeah,
like when
I
you
feel
have
like
a
a lot
lot
of
of
studios are though.
yeah, true that they have. I guess they kind of have to. Um, although I would say that what was it? Studio Bones is probably really consistent with their animation here and there. Well, actually, granted, no, there are some like anime episodes that they'll do for like My Hero, for example, where it's like it's totally possible, and that's because there's not a lot of crazy stuff going on. But when they need to like actually go in, they'll do it. And if you
I
see
mean,
like
I did watch the fourth My Hero movie, like with Dark Might. And can I just say the animation towards the end? Sheesh,
yeah, oops, everything's cubes.
bro, the animation at the end went nuts. I was like, oh my god.
Hmm. And I'll also say the same thing about Infinity Castle as well. But you are right about the music. I think even though I didn't have like the best like movie theater experience because like during the Zenitsu fight, like the treble was a little too high, so it was a little bit like irritating to like certain like pinnacle points. That's unfortunate. But otherwise I think sound is like pretty good and the music has been like pretty hype. Although I couldn't quite hear all of it all the time because it's always like colliding with like the clashing of like blades and fists and whatnot. So I'd have to like listen off the
Oh,
side. But thankfully they have like been posting like the songs like everywhere, whether it be like Spotify or they have it posted separately on YouTube. Like you can listen to those. It's really good.
I knew the music was gonna go dummy as soon as we saw Akaza. I was like, oh, this music's about to go off.
Oh yeah, dude. I was actually well, I guess I shouldn't be too surprised. I usually have some kind of like core like guitar elements like incorporated, but like I heard a lot of that during the Akasa fight. I was like, okay, I like this. And
It's like
that's
because his fight with Rengoku also had really good music.
okay. Yeah, I'd have to revisit that. Speaking of which, characters, they do like. I mean, this is more part of by like the actual like creation of like the characters from the original like creator himself. So the themselves, the create the characters. I'm sorry, I'm starting to repeat myself. Those they're good. But it does kind of lean into, I guess, my only like setback about the movie. Um, and I want there to be a dramatic pause about this. It's the pacing.
Oh, really? You had a problem
The
with the pacing?
pacing is horrendous.
I wouldn't necessarily say horrendous, but I can see where you're coming from.
This was not made to be a movie by every means.
That's a fair statement.
Like the Demon Slayer series. I
I
mean,
can agree with you there. It was probably meant to be multiple arcs, but I do feel like I think it'll be better once all three movies are out.
mhm. Because as far as like the initial movie going experience, you're jumping into like these different sectional fights, and because of how it's developed, it definitely works in a manga and in an anime like standpoint where there's like segments like already chopped up for you. Um, when you have the pacing just shift from like over top action to cutting into like sentimental like story background drops here and there with like an emotional like outcome at the end of each one of those, it can kind of take you like away, especially if anyone's expecting it to be like pretty consistent like from start to end as far as like one like set fight, you know. I get why they do that, and I understand like that's completely creator's intention, and I have absolutely no issues like with that like in and of itself. But like if you're watching this like from start to finish, this is like a 2.5, maybe 3 hour movie if you include the actual like
Nearly 3 hours. It was almost 3 hours.
almost 3 hours. It felt kind of like a slog fest of just like, you know, especially when you go into the Akaza one. That one felt like the longest backstory.
True, but I can't
I
argue that it was a good backstory.
mhm. They that was true. That was fully intentional as far as that. And it's weird because I looked at that and I was like, dude, I think Akaza got a better send off than Shinobu. Did they just do that?
True. I mean, I think, bro, poor Shinobu.
And you know,
She gave it her all.
she really did. I think the one like really impressive thing that I saw out of that was the fact that she admits herself that like I look at peace at all times. Tanjiro was the first one to really pick it out, but I'm always angry.
She said, "Oh, I'm always pissed."
I was like, geez, Shinobu. I mean, granted, yeah, like even she cooked, but the problem is that like that was an upper like rank 2, but even then, like
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
kind of
Dama.
yeah,
Is it Dharma?
Doma,
Maybe
Doma, yeah.
Doma. And the
Uh,
thing is, I don't. Here's the thing. I haven't read the manga. I know some. I know the ending, but I don't know this what happens with this. But I'm gonna say this.
okay.
I have a feeling. I have a feeling Shinobu isn't out just yet.
Oh, oh,
And
uh,
when I say that, no, I think she's dead. Dead. I'm not
okay.
saying I think she's still alive. I'm just saying I think I think her getting absorbed might have been a part of her plan.
That'd be kind of crazy. I don't know that far in, but it's definitely like I do know about just like the one last comeuppance, and that might just
Because
yeah.
to me, big thing is you just absorbed the insect Hashira who's known for using poison.
Mm-hmm.
What are the odds that she might have poisoned herself before you absorbed her?
I mean, like, I guess you could like it at this point, guys. This is like completely speculating. Um, I don't know if she would have had the time to do that. Although if she had the sheath, then maybe. Otherwise, she dropped that sword. So
Right,
like
because I know she dropped the main blade, but if she still had the sheath, because that has all the poison
that
in it,
has all the concoctions in there. So she could,
like not just one
yeah.
of them, literally all of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that'd be interesting. Although it's kind of weird because I don't think if I'm just like rationally like looking at like how the sword beats like happen versus that fight, like it's one of those things where like they don't outright say that he absorbs them like that. It looks like he just consumes them. That's all he does, which is like another form of that. But to absorb their entire essence into him is that'd be another thing. Although if she knew that ahead of
And
time, then that would have been like a last ditch effort type of thing. So I
and of
actually
course,
don't.
in proper Demon Slayer fashion, they do show you the how this person became a monster, who they were before.
Yeah.
In Doma's case, it's more of being born to religious parents, and they viewed him since oh look, he's got different hair, he's got different eyes, he's a beautiful child. Like this boy will lead people onto a better life. It's like a
Mm-hmm.
deity. So they kind of deified their son, and
Yeah.
their son being being young, kids are honest. And of course, people would come to him every day trying to ask, "What do I do?" They are adults asking a child how to fix their adult problems.
Man. Crazy world.
And that and Doma essentially felt bad for them, because if he did, like, it looks like as a kid, yes, he did genuinely feel bad for them,
Mm-hmm.
but he also knew to himself that there's
Yeah.
nothing in the religion for them at all.
Mm-hmm. I think they kind of skip kind of past like the demonization of him. But
I think we'll get that in the next movie, maybe.
okay, fair enough. Because I think even as like a child who like kind of knew better and just like took in everything and also knew the ultimatum for a lot of like these adults like just praying out to him, crying out to him, that his like idealizations, ideology of what he can do for them started to get warped.
Oh, absolutely. I think that did, but it's I'm interested. I'm interested to see if it warped to the degree it did after he was turned into a monster, or if it was because he turned into a monster.
Hmm. And I'd have to like,
Because
I'd have to dig back into like how all the other, individual like upper ranks.
Muzan would usually take advantage of people who were on their lowest point.
Yeah, you're right. So usually the second chance that they're given is usually not with like the best outcome. Like whether it like
Right.
be their own undoing or just like taking their original ideology and then just taking it in a whole different direction that's is perceived as like what's consistent with them, but otherwise like what bro are you doing?
Right. And of course, I'd be curious because I am not familiar with Doma's story until this movie, so I am curious to see where the rest of his story goes. And of course, we had to see the other Hashiras in action, like Gyome. Like see Gyome in action is really cool to see.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, we also got to see some more fights between even the Wind Hashira, and even Genya got in a little bit. But yeah,
Yeah, a
like you
little bit.
said,
Yeah.
next main star of the movie was absolutely Zenitsu.
Hmm. He
I really enjoyed the Zenitsu section.
That was really good.
Essentially, in this portion of the movie, Zenitsu is locked in. Like Zenitsu is him. This movie, like
Mm-hmm.
he was like, you know how Zenitsu is always really cool when he's asleep. He was fully awake for this, and he was being as cool as he was whenever he'd be asleep.
This is true. Like something
And he,
woke up. I mean,
yeah,
we'll talk about it a little bit. Yeah.
yeah, something woke him up, and what you found out was he felt a presence. He's like, oh, I know exactly who this is, and I'm furious.
Well, I would say he was locked in. When he got that letter, he locked in when he
That
got that
letter,
letter. Yeah, told him
and then he
everything
could
he needed
feel
to know.
he could. I mean, here's the thing. I don't know if he knew the strength that he got to, but he could feel the presence. He knew who it was,
Yeah, he could hear him.
and that's when he went and he sought him out, and that's where he found, because it turns out Zenitsu wasn't the only student of his master.
Mm-hmm.
There was another,
There was another one. What was the name of
and
him?
I want to say his name was.
Here, I'm gonna
I think it started with an R, maybe.
Kaigaku.
That's what it is, Kaigaku.
Yeah, this was a really cool fight because there have been like, obviously some subtle hints here and there. Well, not even hints, but there are like others like demons that actually have sword techniques.
Yeah, like some that were Slayers before.
Yeah, I think I only know two of them. So Kaigaku is one of those. And
Yeah, like him in the first.
right, so they talk about how, you know, well, they kind of definitely allude to it, like why'd you become a demon, Kaigaku? Like what happened? Why'd you do all that? And he doesn't outright say it. It's more over like it's kind of given to us as far as like his own memories of it. And I'm
He
gonna
was
be
very resentful.
there's that one. He's resentful, and you know what? That's unfortunate because like that's something that you could have like hashed out. But the other reason, I can't even I can't even blame him because it's the first dude. What do you like? What do you? I can't
Justin
even
said, "You know what? You kind of got a point on this one."
because dude, all these bodies laying in front of you, and it's like upper rank one.
That's what I'm saying. I couldn't get mad in there. I was like, I mean, you kind of don't have a choice at that point.
You're off by the moment before you even say thunder.
The point you have here is this or die.
Yeah, and for Kaigaku, like his ideology is that like you kind of have to like beg in order to like survive and continue to get stronger. That's the only like that's kind of the ultimatum.
The
Do whatever it
strong
takes.
survive, the weak die.
Right, which then gets like pushed onto like Zenitsu because he looks at him and he's like, Why am I with him? What's the point about this?"
And
So
here's the thing, you could see Kaigaku. He viewed they both. Here's the thing: Kaigaku could never master the first form of thunder breathing. Zenitsu could only master the first form of thunder breathing.
very odd, but yeah.
And because of that, that is why their master said, "You both will succeed thunder breathing because
Mhm.
you two make up one whole."
Yeah, and I guess
And
like yeah.
with Kaigaku, Kaigaku took that as an insult because he to him it felt like his master didn't view him as strong enough to be able to actually succeed him. But
Which
that's
I
not what it
mean,
was.
yeah, you're right, but I kind of understand that to a point. Like they don't really like talk about the conversations they may have had prior to like getting Zenitsu on board. Because I guess I'd also be kind of upset too, because like, I've mastered all these other ones. I'm having some real hard struggles with this first one. I'm still trying. I assume he's still trying. And then he just hired someone else to master it for him. So it's like
Unless they started at the same time.
maybe, yeah. That I'm not too clear on, but I kind of understand like why it felt like he wasn't enough, and that might have like
Right.
bit into him.
But of course another problem with that is he didn't see it like Zenitsu saw it.
Yeah.
Zenitsu well, here's the thing, well, Zenitsu didn't like him. Zenitsu respected him.
Hmm.
And the thing is, we saw like they were talking bad about Kagaku behind his back. Zenitsu fought them for it,
Yeah.
and Kagaku's like, Kagaku's like, what are you doing? Don't cause trouble. And like and he's like he doesn't know why Zenitsu got into a fight.
Yeah. They
He
weren't
doesn't know that he
communicating.
was defending. He was defending right Kagaku.
Yeah. And the problem is, I'm pretty sure he already knows that too. He probably knows that people talk behind his back, considering the fact, and that's why he doesn't want people to lump Zenitsu with him.
But the other thing there is as well what the big moment that showed where Zenitsu why he was so mad at Kagaku, not only for turning into a monster, but
Oh,
also for
right.
saying their master in shame committed seppuku.
That's real rough because
And here's the thing:
I-
he also pointed out the aspect of in that ceremony, you're supposed to cut open your own stomach, and someone is supposed to behead you so your death isn't long.
right. It's an interesting like ceremonious act where you know you essentially have like caused like a great sin, whether you committed it or not. The fact that the teachings had led to like a demon, his master here
There's
felt that
especially the
guilt.
Hashira.
Yeah, so he committed, but you're right. It requires like twofold because essentially the ceremony isn't necessarily to off yourself. It's actually to like inflict that wound. But you actually can't kill yourself, actually. Someone else has to do it for you. So it's like
And
yeah.
since no one was there, he died slowly
Yeah, and that really that hurt. Especially
and
Zenitsu when he heard
painfully,
that. Yeah.
all by himself. And Zenitsu was furious.
Hmm.
Rightfully so.
Yeah, so he was out there. He was fighting like for the sake of like his master as well.
And here's the thing: Zenitsu knew how strong Kagaku was.
Hmm.
Kagaku, like he a lot of techniques, he showed us the other forms of thunder breathing we didn't know were, and they were really cool moves.
They were really
But
cool.
the problem was Kagaku always looked down on Zenitsu. He never expected Zenitsu to create a new form of thunder breathing.
Hmm. And that's where like I also shifted like I guess why that he was also viewed equally too. Because it is kind of
It's
weird
because
like they're meant to
they were
complete
both
the form.
talented.
They're both talented in their own right, But if we're talking about like sheer numbers, Kaikaku does like seem noticeably like better. But obviously, it's the masters saw them as both equals because like they both completed, they complement each other. But
Absolutely.
having said that, though, to create like a seventh form because there was only six for the thunder breathing like aspect, so that was actually really something.
Yeah, he made a whole new. The Thunder Dragon was such a sick animation,
Hmm.
and he was just like, "What was that?"
You know what? And yeah, I love the crash out at the end where he literally has nothing he could do except for just continue to fall.
And Zenitsu falls with him. He's like, "Ha ha! Ha, you going down with me?"
And then
And then
like
then our boy who can teleport just shows up. He said, "Hey." He's
not
like,
without having a couple of like last words
"No,
to essentially
no."
to essentially rage bait him, knowing he can't do a thing as he like falls, and then just kind of like takes like Zenitsu and just like hops off.
As he falls, no, no.
That was rough, but that was like a really
To be fair,
satisfying conclusion.
you did it to yourself, Kagaku.
Yeah,
I really wish it could have been different for Kagaku. I really do.
yeah, but he was too far gone. Like I
He's
think
too far. He was very much too far gone. Like there
it's
was nothing you could do for him.
it's very much so kind of like the Deku and Bakugo dynamic, but this one just never had the time to be mended.
It's like Bakugo if Bakugo never worked on himself.
Hmm. Or saw like different reasons. I mean, like it can be a little bit slightly different because of like the circumstances, but you know, in this case, it was just a resentment that Kaigaku could never like get past or see like otherwise. I don't know what led to like the demon attack, but you know, I said what I said about the upper rank one. Like, what do you? I mean,
You ain't fucking with that guy.
honestly, I get it. It's kind of hard to argue against that.
I was going to say, what do you expect me to do?
If there's any indicator as to what that guy can do at the end of this movie, then it's like, yeah, all right.
I mean, not only that, there's also the very touching scene of Zenitsu seeing his master at a river that separates life and death.
That was rough. That was real rough.
And him trying to apologize to his master, and all his master had to say was, "Zenitsu, you are my pride and joy." I was like, "Oh!"
Oh, I will say though that you know the demonization of Kaigaku did lead to like the improvement of like his techniques, just using like
True.
blood techniques. I think that was actually pretty cool. But
True. His blood technique did go to just enhance his breathing, which that's actually a pretty strong ability.
yeah, I guess that's I don't know if like Muzan like actively seeks that out or you know like he already got the one, so he's good. Otherwise, anything supplementary and doesn't like I'll take it, but I don't really need it.
I forgot that upper moons could make more. I forgot that. Oh, I guess yeah, they can make more, not just Muzan.
Yeah, I just kind of kept that in mind when like Akaza like offered it up to Rengoku back then. So that was always
Right.
like an option there.
Goku refused.
Yeah.
That's why he is amazing.
Hmm.
And then we move on to the big part of the Infinity Castle, Akaza.
Ooh. Sorry, think about this.
Akaza's Here's the thing. Akaza's backstory.
Okay.
As much as it still hurts with Rengoku, I can't hate him.
That yeah, like it gives you a different perspective. I can't really like say like if I
I
like him
can't
more.
say I
I can't.
forgive him.
Yeah.
I can't say I forgive him, but I also can't say I hate him.
Yeah.
It's a very complex feeling.
And I think that yeah, I think that's like writer's intent. You're supposed to like really like antagonize like these villains, and then you see the backstory, and then you're like, you know, this world's just messed up. That's what it is.
It is. And Akaza originally was a boy from an impoverished family. He didn't have a mother. He had a father, and he had to steal to get money to get his father's medicine.
Yeah, and you know, I shouldn't. I was gonna say I was gonna go with like a really dry joke about it, but like no, like this. I'll go ahead and say it. 2 for 2, everybody.
Jesus Christ.
2 for 2, everybody. Another act committed here.
And you would always get punished. He would always get punished constantly for stealing, but Akaza would always take it for his dad.
He would always do it. He was always like self-serving. But unfortunately, like as much as he's willing, yeah,
his father knew what a burden he felt like he was being on his son, and so he took it into his own hands to free his son from the burden of taking care of him.
Yeah. And it kind of left Akaza like very much so lost. All he could do was just steal, and he was still very much so furious about how this all kind of like led to him having like a horrible life. He had this perspective of like how the impoverished can't like defend themselves, how people will feel like a burden to like another person just because like they're born a certain way, or like
and he did have a knack for fighting.
He did.
And that's when he was fighting these local like lords
who were guards,
who were the ones that were looking down on him before, and he beat all of them up.
He did,
and that's when they called over a martial arts master.
I think let me see if I got the name right. I think it's Kaizo.
I think so. Yeah, Kaizo.
Ooh, it's funny how this all worked out, but yeah, it is Kaizo or Kaizo. I think with an E instead. But so referring to him as Kaizo, I watched the movie with Anai, and he actually bought the English dub tickets. I would have otherwise like picked sub because that's just how he's like started off the series with. But okay, Channing Tatum actually voice dubbed Kaizo, and I know you perceived that as a joke. I was 100% serious when I said that.
I didn't realize because I didn't see the English dub.
Right. Like, and I wouldn't have known either. Actually, I would have known. I just didn't even. I would have otherwise chose like sub otherwise. But in this case, it was totally fine. I would say actually I would give like Channing Tatum his flowers for like the voice acting here because he does.
So you're doing there, Akaza? You want to make a name for yourself?
That's good. I really looked at it and I said, "Bro, he really made a name for himself."
But to make a name for myself. Ooh.
Yeah, it's so funny. But he did like embody Kaizo very well as far as like just very like cheerful. A very cheerful character.
You're right.
And you know what? Like the way he packed up Akaza for the first like a meeting. That that's at the tone.
So someone called Akaza over. He called him over because hey, Akaza's going a little wild. Would you mind taking care of this? So he went over and he said like, hey, why don't you come and join my dojo? And he said, what? Why would I want to do that? He said, because you could use a little direction. I could teach you how to fight, give you a place to stay. He said, you really want to take in a criminal? Oh, don't worry. I'm going to take care of that right now. Proceeds to beat the living stuffing out of him.
It was crazy. So like I look at like how Akaza like fights in the movie and the series as a whole. I get it.
And then we look and we see like he said like, there, see, I just beat the criminal out of you.
Yeah, I mean like
And then he took him back to his dojo and said, hey, you can live here. Yeah, I can teach you martial arts, but there's one thing I'd like to ask you to do. I would like you to help me take care of my sick daughter.
Yeah.
Which is something he has experience with because he took care of his sick father.
Right. So I don't think it like aligned up like so perfectly. So he planned that out. It was just it just happened, and
it did. It was just a coincidence, and they didn't have their mother because she had also committed. She also committed the self deletion.
Correct. I appreciate the filter for that as well.
Yes, and so, Keizo kind of blamed himself, but he seemed to have accepted it.
I mean, yeah, he had to. It's tough because Akaza kind of like read the room as well. Like, despite like the cheery like outlook, he doesn't like Kaizo himself doesn't know what to do with his daughter at this point.
Like he has his own pain.
Yeah, because essentially they're very much so like where like they're taking care of somebody, but he can't outright take care of his daughter all the time when she needs that because he has to go find work.
Right.
So working together like this, it gave Kaza just like something like a duty to fulfill.
And so they met, and she was a little shy at first, but they started to get along, and slowly, they started to become friends, get closer,
They got romantical.
and they did as they got older. And Akaza got close with Keizo as well, almost like a father figure.
Mm-hmm.
And as we've seen, as things had gone on, eventually Keizo wanted to leave the dojo teaching and everything to Akaza, and he also wanted him to take his daughter's hand in marriage.
Mm-hmm.
And it was such a cute scene,
Yeah.
and things were going so well. But Akaza went to go clean off his father's grave,
Mm-hmm.
and when he came back, a rival school who had been wanting the grounds poisoned the well and killed Keizo and his daughter.
That's you know what? I understand that crash out. Yeah, I 100% understand that crash out because like these two are otherwise like undefeated, and this is really just all in the fault of like the other school, just like not being able to take the L like gracefully like that.
Absolute cowardice.
So, Akaza with all the rage that just like welled up inside of him since like
He
witnessing
just
all they
he
loved
just
being
lost
taken
his
away again.
fiance. He just lost his adoptive father. The bro, he just snapped.
Yeah.
He went over to that dojo, and my God,
He
they didn't stand a chance.
he mass file deleted everybody.
Bro, it was not even a fight.
Mm-hmm. It was crazy. He was just a dude. He wasn't even a demon at that time. It was
That was
all rage.
pure human strength and rage.
Mm-hmm.
He he probably took down every single member of that school.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is, he didn't stop at just taking them down. He was just so blind rage. He just beat them to pulp.
Mm-hmm.
Like they found like parts that weren't where they should be. I was
They're
like,
all
oh,
strewn
dude,
out across.
he was just seeing black.
Yeah. So right, and that's essentially where like Muzan like found him and then like proceed to turn him because he just so willingly wanted to like make disciples like based on like his demon blood. So he created the upper like 12 or 6. It was 6, right?
I think it's the upper. I think it's well. There's the upper. I think it's upper 12, if I'm not mistaken. But there are the upper. I think the upper 6 are like the highest.
Okay, fair enough. So
But I
yeah.
do know that as well. There's also the fact of like Akaza was barely hanging on. Like he was just so tired walking out of that dojo
Mm-hmm.
after that, and he was just looking to get out of there. But the
Yeah.
thing is, Muzan said, "Hey, I can help you out," and he didn't want it. He said, "Get out of my way."
Yeah. That's fair. But
He tried to punch him, and then he realized that he got a hand through his face.
yeah. I mean, what else can you do at that point? He really just said, like, do what you want. It doesn't even matter anymore.
Like here's the thing: Akaza had given up. He didn't want to become one of those, but
Mm-hmm.
he was forced to,
Mm.
and that's why when you really think about that backstory, even with what happened with Rengoku, it's very hard to completely dislike Akaza as a character because you could just feel so much sympathy for him as well.
I think it's it's a very difficult emotion to go through, knowing like the sequences of events like chronologically, and like that's completely writer's intent on that because obviously that's how they write all the characters, is that you see like outright like how they are, and you get an like impression of them, but then you learn about like why they are, and then you start to understand them a little bit more, which will start to conflict sometimes with how you initially felt about them.
Right, and with the fight between Akaza, Tanjiro, and Giyu, whoo,
Mm-hmm. Now I
that
will,
was
yeah,
an amazing fight.
yeah, no. I I will say as a quick aside, I do like how they portray growth in the series through Tanjiro and even Zenitsu and like Inosuke. Um where
You don't know if he did much.
Granted, yes, you're right. You're right. Like out of all of them, I think he only had like 2 representations in fights, like in the series thus far,
Here's the thing.
right?
I love Inosuke, but he didn't do much.
I mean, he got stronger. That's kind of what happened, but there wasn't like
He
a
did like
meaning.
every time I see Inosuke pop up, I'm like, ah. But unfortunately, he just wasn't here that much.
Yeah, I think when you compare him with the other ones, like yeah, it's like he does make it like a noticeable like improvement as far as just like I guess how active I
Make
guess he is.
way.
It's tough to argue. I'm gonna be honest with you, but yeah, he does get stronger, but it's the way that I see improvement is by the aftermath of each fight. Whereas, with Tanjiro, I think he even goes as far back as like, what was it, one of the upper like 12, and he's dealing with like the child looking one with spider
The
threads.
spider one, yeah.
Yeah, and Gyu actually had to save him at the end of the day. Although Tanjiro like did have like a really good moment with like, you know, unleashing Hinokami like Kagura like immediately. Or
He
that first
technically did win
instance.
that fight.
Technically did win that, but it was just one of those things where like again the demons
I
have
will
like
grab my head with my webs.
yeah, they do have an edge because they have like a healing factor to them.
So as long as
But
I catch my head, boop.
right. So it's one of those things where like, Tanjiro like he won in our eyes. He won. But otherwise would have just died there.
I mean, the thing as well is Giyu in this fight, constantly being pushed to his limits, awoke his mark.
Wait, Mark, I'm not quite finished yet. But like
Okay.
also like in other fights like Mugen Train, Rengoku dies. I think the next one is like the Entertainment District arc. Everyone survives. Um,
Yep.
and then like Swordsmith, Tanjiro actually like does like something on his own for this one, and
True.
then and so it kind of like it's kind of like an elevating type of thing where they're like heavy casualties to like, oh, we just made out of that. We took care of it ourselves type of thing. So I love the growth for each of the outcomes here and there. So I think that's just been like a really consistent thing. So kind of like going back to like where we're at here. And I just want to preface for everyone and for you, Mark, we don't have to like tell everything. I don't know if that's what you wanted to do, and that's totally cool. I didn't want you to feel pressured into like retelling everything.
Oh no, I'm just going through it, bro.
Okay. Okay. Just want to make sure. Um and I
I
I
was, I
wanted.
was mentioning stuff that was like either interesting or cool.
Okay, fair enough. Because it was like almost like going like bar for every like beat that happened, almost. But I want to bring that up actually because of the fact that you know during the quickest exchange between like Tanjiro and Akaza, that would have like otherwise would have murked like Tanjiro right then and there, and it's nice to get that little bit of satisfaction when you hear from Giyu that like Tanjiro, like when I first met you, you couldn't really do much except for beg for me to not like take away your daughter, not daughter, your sister. But now you're like fighting on par with the Hashira. Um,
You I boy, you I.
so that's like big satisfaction for me, just as far as like the growth there. But having said that, though, like they because Giyu is there, so they definitely kind of go like high tier stakes as far as like the speed and the power there. And you kind of see Tanjiro in the back, just kind of like trying to catch up with them. Although, like when he does his exchanges here and there, that's nothing to be scoffed at. But yeah, I think they really went all out when it came to like animating like the Gyu and Akaza fights from prior to the
Ooh, bro,
awakening
they
to
went
like the actual
hard.
awakening. Yeah, those were like some of my favorite bits.
I do like the look of his mark.
Yeah, that was an interesting look for the mark. I don't think there's a couple of them that have like awakened their marks like thus far. But yeah,
I think so far, isn't it? I think so far it's just Tanjiro. Is it Tokikito
yes.
and Giyu.
I think
Unless
no. It's
is it
also
Suri?
one more. I forget her name. That's the problem.
Was it Mitsuri?
I think so. Yeah, it was. She did awaken
The
that.
Love Hashira?
Yeah, she locked in. It was during one of the upper rank movements where she essentially fought him through daybreak.
Yeah, it was like in it was like on the in season 3.
Yeah, or like the swordsmith stuff where like Tanjiro and Ko were like going after like the little dude, and she had to hold
Yeah,
off the other Hashira.
yeah, she was dealing
Or
with the
sorry,
Tengus.
yeah, Tengu, yeah. No, not Hashira, Justin. Relax. But
But
yeah,
of
so
course, I gotta say this. I have to say this.
okay.
My bro activated Ultra Instinct.
I mean, I made the joke to an eye as well. Like, how can that not be an Ultra Instinct?
It is. It's exactly Ultra Instinct.
Almost like Barf. It's also really funny that like he had to like really think about that all the way back, and that's like that's a bit of like the. I mean, I don't really
I did
otherwise
enjoy
have.
seeing that. That was a good
Yeah,
flashback.
I do appreciate like what that is. It's kind of it's a weird like mixed feeling where it's like I don't like that pacing like during the movie, but like I totally like get it and I understand and I appreciate what it is. Just to like bring that back because that is
The
important
flow
information.
state.
Essentially, the flow state where like after mastering Hino Kamikagura, like essentially once you got the techniques down, you just have to really focus on like the body. And you enter like that trance state of like, oh, you see the transparent world as he's like his father like mentions it. Um, The flashback with the bear was crazy.
Dude, the bear was nuts.
Like that wasn't your
Bro,
ordinary bear either.
there's a massive bear and he two tapped it.
That's a monster hunter bear.
It really is.
He really did two tap though with just an axe, a cutting
A
like wood.
small little axe for cutting wood.
That was insane.
And with no aggression or hostile intent.
Yeah, I like I guess the juxtaposition or like the conflict that like arises with it because like essentially Tanjiro like talks about that like in his like casual conversation with Nosuke like how do we not how would you fight somebody with no killing intent when we are trying to cut the heads off of like these demons and whatnot? And Nosuke is like, I don't really know, actually.
Well, I think what his dad did it best. He said like, I'm not going to hold any anger towards you. I'm not going to hurt. I don't want to hurt you, but I will defend my family. And if you step over this line, you will face the consequences.
That's true. But like even then, like I think even in real life, if I told you to like strike at someone with like no intent whatsoever, whether it be like the killing intent or just simply like I have to like like a boxing match, like whether like I need to like win, there's still like some like level of emotion like put into that. So it's always like such an interesting concept to like enter this flow state where like you don't feel anything whatsoever.
I think it could be described maybe as Zen in a sense,
Maybe, yeah.
to where you hold no, where you. It's basically where. Imagine this. I would say, imagine it in a sense of you are coming at this from. You're not angry. You're not sad. This is purely only being done because it has to be done.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. I kind of get that. I was trying to think about
And it's like,
sports.
right, you're doing this because it has to be done. You would rather not do it. And that's why he gave the warning. And when the bear didn't listen, he said, well, I gave him a warning.
Yeah. At that point, like it really is I guess the way you can like also describe it's like a video game objective. Whether you feel strongly about something or another, like in this objective is completely, something on your own like burden to deal with. But the objective is just the objective. And if you just simply follow it without even thinking too much about it, that's kind of like how you can describe this feeling.
Right. And when Tanjiro finally reached that state, Akaza was shook.
Yeah, I loved how they did this one too, because it really was one of those like false like aha moments where like I mean Akaza's a different breed too, because like he really just like caught Gyu like in the midst of that strike and like not like split that like sword in half.
I know he just.
And it was like that stuff felt so effortlessly, and it was like just crazy because it really was one of those things where it's like, oh, that's a red flag right there, and he goes in to punch
One
him, and
minute
then
sword together, next minute snap like twig.
yeah, and then to catch like Akaza in the middle of that like thrust and cut his hand off, and then just like give the absolute Oro pose ever at the end of it.
True.
Yeah.
There's also just the aspect of even with Tanjiro being successful and Giyu coming in with the assist to really help,
Mm-hmm.
Akaza did not admit defeat.
That was oh yeah, dude. You know what? I gotta give props to Akaza because like otherwise like he is pretty much like
refuses.
yeah. But it ended up like the way that they kind of like wrote that was kind of like a curse too. Because, you know, he's lived for like I guess 100+ years, if anything, with this.
He's definitely been alive for longer than a lot of people.
Right. And so, you know, I guess he just kind of, well, he described it as like once he became a demon, he just kind of forgot. All he knew was just to fight to get stronger.
A lot of them lose their memories.
Oh yeah, okay.
At least majority of their memories.
Yeah, so you know, it was during this moment where he was constantly being reminded of like his old past life through Tanjiro, through a little bit of Giyu as well, that like things started to wake
every time. Yeah, every time Tanjiro spoke to him, he reminded him of Keizo.
Yeah, and
he would see the ghost of Keizo behind him. He'd just be like, "What the fuck?"
And then he would also get reminded of like his daughter as well, and like the romance and just like the nurturing that they had for each other, which it's so funny because like you also saw Muzan also like intervene here and there because essentially that's the demon side of him like trying to like restore him. So once he remembered everything, he realized that like he didn't want to do this anymore. He'd already lost.
What truly beat Akaza at the end of the day wasn't just Tanjiro and Giyu; it was Tanjiro, Giyu, and Akaza.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was one of those things. Yeah, I guess like once he got his memories unlocked, that he realized that. Well, yeah, it's kind of like it's also really mixed because you know he still has that drive to continue fighting to get stronger and survive, but also you know he already lost the reasons for fighting like a long time ago. So it was just like one. I think it really was just like that one punch. That was. I love people memeing that too, where it's like.
I like that a lot. He said punch. I was like, I like that a lot actually.
People meme it up where it's like Tanjiro's like that one samurai swordsman that will just resort to fists when need to.
I mean, I think any good samurai would.
I mean, to be fair, Gyu did say like we're not like your usual like samurai.
I mean, there's also like the thing of like you said, it's like I think once he got his memories back and you realize because like he dropped to his knees, like hugging his wife and everything, begging for forgiveness because he'd lost his way.
Yeah, I know that's a very emotional moment, but I also want to point out the fact that people really also memeing that too.
Why are they memeing it?
Akaza got that VR headset.
People are so mean.
They're so mean because like, but when you actually see it, it's just Akaza like completely headless. By the way, this is like kind of one of the gripes I had about the pacing was the fact that like we're getting like so much like backstory and it's very beautiful, and then he cuts to the fact that like this is still headless.
Akaza doesn't have a head right
now. Even I was looking at it, he's headless. Like, come on, what are we doing? But even so, this is still like the headless like Akaza just kind of like roaming around like this one room, going back and forth, and he's doing the gestures because he's kind of in that like limbo between like life and death, where he sees like, you know, and that's kind of like what the writer does is that you know the departed like still have a means of like communicating with the living to a certain extent, but usually under those circumstances where you're like between that bridge,
the limbo.
Right. So I think that was a really cool emotional moment for like Akaza because like that was a point where like he was regenerating. He would always continue to regenerate even after being beheaded. By the way, that was a really cool moment. Yeah.
It's because he was essentially doing what Muzan was trying to do. He was trying to evolve, essentially.
Yeah, that's true. I will say shoutouts to that moment where Tanjiro like does like the weave and then like in an instant slashes like the head. Akaza like holds it down instinctively, but Gyu was like, "Oh no, you don't!" And
I
Chas
know
is
he's
like,
saying, yeet.
I was like, I gotta give him props for that one, but
That's what I'm saying. The assist, bro.
yeah, but even then, like before like all that, it was kind of crazy to see like Gyu just struggling. He was struggling to fight like a headless like Gyu for a little bit.
I mean,
Or sorry,
it says that
headless Akaza, yeah.
he did do exceptionally well.
They were both tired.
Bro, they were just at the end.
Oh, dude, Chandra was already knocked out at a certain point.
Dude,
And then he woke up.
Gyu passed out on one knee with his sword holding the rest of him up.
Mm-hmm.
Bro is unconscious, like kneeling up. I'm like, goodness gracious. Ah! Ah!
Oh, yeah, that was funny. Yeah.
Tanjiro and Gyu have beaten Upper 3. Ah!
Oh, dude. I love, like, the mystery, but also, like, you don't mess with this guy with upper rank 1, where he gets that and he senses that, and he's like, what happened? What happened?
He said, what happened? I thought you wanted to become stronger.
Dude, he really
proceeds to tear down every pillar in the room.
needlessly. He was just that upset.
Bro is just. Woo!
To be fair, Akaza did promise that to him that he would fight him like again one day. And it's like, whatever.
If Akaza kept going, I think he could have beat him maybe one day.
Yeah, one day, probably. Also, yeah, that was another thing that they mentioned in the Zenitsu fight. Like, one of the issues with oh god, what was his name again?
Kagaku?
Kaigaku, that was the fact was his techniques weren't perfected. So like another time span thing where like if it was a year later and he actually refined his techniques, you went to one Zenitsu. I'm afraid that's what
That's
would
the
happen.
thing is you got there at just the perfect time.
Mm-hmm. So I mean, yeah, maybe Akaza would have like won like later on, especially if he stuck with it. But I mean, like I think for the audience, I don't think we can really blame like Akaza for like just kind of stopping at that point, especially when he remembered everything.
Bro just felt terrible.
Yeah.
Because he was like, it's real. Before the incident with the dojo, he really wasn't a bad person.
He wasn't. It's just like one of the things where like he was just like his family was in poverty and just due to circumstances he had to fight and he what's the word? He definitely didn't like the higher status just being able to push them around like that instead of like, help them. So
It's like this. It's like what truly pushed him was being robbed of his last two things that were going good for him in his life.
yeah, and then it just kind of got substituted with just him needing to be stronger to protect them. But like it was also not his fault because he wasn't even there. It was also like
As you're saying,
water
they waited
poison.
till he left.
Yeah. And even then, I think he would have also gotten poisoned too.
Yeah, there's a good chance he might have been.
Yeah, so it's like, that was just kind of unfortunate timing, and that's ill fate for him.
And and like that's the thing. He also like that's why like after he realized everything, he apologized to them in spirit, and then they said welcome home as as death embraced him.
Yeah, if you guys weren't ready for that, I understand. That's a rough moment. That's a very emotional moment. Followed by like,
And that's why I say
yeah.
like I'll give this. Here's the thing. Demon Slayer is not the best shonen, like some people say. It's not.
How dare you?
Here's the thing. But here's the thing. Here's the thing. I will always give Demon Slayer their flowers for making you actually feel sympathy for the villains.
Mm-hmm.
They do a very good job of that. They do a very good job of actually making you feel something for the villains.
Mm-hmm.
Because it shows you that they everyone has their own set of circumstances.
Mm-hmm.
And it shows you that there are some who you feel sympathy for, like the Spider Boy. Like you feel sympathy for him. You feel sympathy for Akaza.
Or the siblings,
But
actually.
or the siblings, like you feel bad for them.
Mm-hmm.
Then there's the art guy in the jar, and you think, fuck this guy.
And careful, Mark.
Sorry. You think, man, this guy sucks.
Yeah, like there's a good number of them that just are just kind of twisted, and that's just how it is. And I get that, but there's also like those who are just really unfortunate that like Muzan did and just recruited them and took advantage of them.
Yeah, the guy in the jar is by far one of the worst.
A worst offenders here. we all my homies hate the jar guy.
Bro, he didn't even get a backstory.
Yeah, it's just like you're just there just to be there, you know. Pretty sure.
And to be fair, as cool as the Tengu was, I don't think we really got a backstory on him either.
I think upper rank 4 is gonna have a better backstory actually. Bam, bam.
Unless did we get? I don't know. Did we get a backstory on the little guy? I can't remember if we did or not.
Not that I remember. I think it was something very subtle, very small, and I guess that's just to pair it up with like the stature of like this guy in his smaller form.
I was going to say, was that a pun you just made?
I think it just pairs up like that.
But with that, of course, another thing I'd like to say that was interesting was the Master's children trying to map out the Infinity Castle with the crows.
Yeah, that was actually really cool. Yeah, like
poor kids.
Yeah, and that was cool because you saw Rengoku's dad. So
I
Mr.
did like
Rengoku,
seeing that he'd actually returned.
He did return back after everything, and then our now retired Hashira is there, just kind of guarding them.
Still cool as can be.
He made it out. I don't know. I don't know how everyone else feels about it. Like,
he's still. I think he could still definitely put up a fight. I just think that he can't put up as much as a fight, and that he's got one eye and one arm.
No, I think he said it best is like, what good am I like against like upper ranks in this form, in this state?
Yeah, it's like honestly, like if he hadn't lost his eye I still think he could have put up a fight.
Yeah.
But then again, he is the sound Hashira.
Yes. So I mean, like as long as his hearing's intact, then he's good. Technically, you can argue that he would probably still put up a good fight. But
I think that's why he's guarding the children, is because like they would only put their best to guard the children, right?
That's true. And so they're also compromised. They had the best out there too.
It is true. Gyomei, Tanjiro, and all of them are out there.
Yeah, so someone has to guard them, but otherwise, I don't think there's much of an issue there because that's essentially home base right there. And everyone else is in the Infinity Castle. But it's kind of crazy because they actually had to map everything out like by hand, and they have like several staff there just constantly working on this ever-changing castle design.
Like they're just putting up all these maps on the walls.
Mm-hmm.
And on top of that, like since the castle is infinite, it's constantly being updated.
So I don't even know how you can really track that. Like that's just, it's so insane for me to look at that. Like it makes sense when you have like almost real time like surveillance through the crows. So I understand that. Yeah. So I understand that. It's just like crazy because everyone's like constantly mapping things out, but the moment that the layout had to change, they also had to change like their papers too.
And of course, I feel bad for because they just lost their father, their mother, their sisters.
It's insane because like I'm still talking to Nai about it. Like it's so insane that like I get the master gets it. He locks in for that. But he takes his wife. He takes like a lot of the children. Like everyone was like aligned to like that mission, and like the kids just have to deal with it.
The thing is, I think the wife and the older daughters, they were all just so dedicated to the stopping Muzan that they accepted this sacrifice.
Which is like that's insane. But I get it, especially when they want to cease what otherwise plagues like an entire nation.
Right, and now it all folds onto his because I think he only has one son. The rest of his are all girls.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
and like you can see, like, he's like, no crying right now. We can mourn later. Now, right now, we have to do this.
That's tough. And this is another instance where they play off of like, that bridge between like life and death, and, kind of hearing like the souls of the departed just kind of like whisper like wisdom whenever needed
Yeah,
most.
his father there for him. Yeah,
Yeah. That's rough, but they locked in, and it's thanks to them that they hear a lot of the information like in real time. So,
right. So they send out their support units to where they need to be. They send out like who needs help.
yeah. Also, shout out to Murata. Shout out to Murata. He's like
Yo, Murata, yo,
he's
man,
goated.
he put in work.
He
He
don't
put
even,
in work.
they don't even need animation for him as far as like the water stuff. He's got it.
He doing decent. He doing decent.
I see him hit that water wheel. I was like, oh, that hit different, but it worked.
Stop saying stuff that'll crush your spirit.
Yeah, he deeply cares about everybody.
He's like, bro, would it hurt you to be nice?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's on that line, so I appreciate that.
Right. Overall, like, I can see what you mean with the pacing, but I'd still say overall a good movie.
Yeah, it's like if you really love the characters, there's absolutely no qualms that you'll have. It'll just feel it might just feel weird as far as the pacing, but otherwise, if you know what the contents are, how it's displayed, that's a manga, it's an anime, so there are definitely segments that are like kind of meant to just be like cut off for like your own pacing, but to kind of like put it into a movie, it's different. It's like running a whole marathon of like movies, like Lord of the Rings, for example, like where it feels like it flows a little bit better, like movie per movie. But if it's like back to back to back to back, then without that knowledge, you feel like as a singular movie runtime, then it feel kind of weird.
Yeah,
But
I think that's why I think once all three movies are out, and if you were to just watch all three movies, I think it'll all just blend very seamlessly.
yeah, maybe it'll be a very long marathon for sure. Which is why I think they'll do the exact same thing as like they did with Mugen Train and later on, and they'll probably just segment it up in actual like anime episodes as well.
I wonder. I don't know, because I mean, they did say it was gonna be a trilogy. So I wonder if that means, will they do that, or will they actually just, hey, movies?
I guess they could also do that too. Now that streaming is just a much more like common thing, and then they'll just release the movies.
And bro, this
But
is almost 3 hours. Imagine how long the one with Muzan's final fight is gonna be.
well, that's a solid 5 episode one.
That's gotta be. I feel like that's either gonna go over 3 hours, or who knows.
The longest night, and it goes on for
Probably
like 7 hours.
7 hours.
7 hours. It's insane. Yeah, they really have touted Infinity Castle to be like this is the final bit. So we're splitting it up into 3 parts.
Well, it's because there's Infinity Castle, and then there's one more arc after Infinity Castle, I believe.
I was gonna say you thought Harry Potter, you thought Twilight was like a mess, boy.
I think that I think that the next movie probably wraps up the Infinity Castle arc.
Probably
Because
yeah, last one
and
was
that's when
the Musan fight.
I believe that's when they get out of Infinity Castle, and then they prepare for the final fight with Muzan.
That's insane. They don't catch a break. Oh boy.
Poor girl is trying her best to hold him back right now.
She's trying her best.
Save her, please.
Yeah, so I don't know when they're releasing the next movie, but I'm already locked in. I'm definitely gonna watch it.
Oh, absolutely.
But otherwise, it's a fun watch, and I'm glad that they did decide to do this as like a whole movie thing. I think it might be a smart thing like monetarily, especially if they were to just try to like release these into like segmented episodes later on as well.
Right. Entertainment District.
Yeah.
That Entertainment District was better than Mugen Train.
Yeah, that was crazy. But yeah, no, I get it. I will say making a movie experience, I think it would have been like really cool to have seen it like opening night, because everyone like really popped off for that.
Oh yeah, I always love seeing it with a full audience. Honestly,
That's fair. I think my audience this time around were pretty like well behaved as far as like the movie etiquette type of thing. Everyone was pretty like
then
silent.
again, I went opening day at like 11:40, so it was like there was only like 5 other people there with me.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. Nah, some people like really popped off. Like frame one Zenitsu, everyone starts cheering, or literally like a couple seconds of just knowing it's Akaza like that's breaking down. I did like that like little slow motion where it's like Tanjiro picks it up, but when he sees him like in the puff of smoke, he goes from shocked to outright angry.
He said, "What the
Akaza, and everyone was like,
Akaza?"
yeah.
He had the prepare to do it, Snicky. I'm gonna get you, Akaza.
But yeah, it's a lot of hype moments, and clearly there's a huge fan base behind Demon Slayer, so they can definitely get away with just like having additional movies here and there. Especially
Oh,
with the
absolutely.
next one. If that's really gonna be upper rank one, that we're gonna be seeing the fight. Oh, I don't know. I'm not even ready for that.
I do know somewhat of his backstory. It's gonna be a very interesting one to see.
Yeah, and it's just so crazy the way that they kind of like led up to it. And this is not really spoilers or anything like that because they talked about it previously before, but the fact that like he's not related to Tanjiro like whatsoever. There's an association way back when, but that's it.
I was gonna say, like, oh, there's a relation. It's just not with Tanjiro.
Yeah, that's crazy because they really look very much so alike.
Well, that's because he looks like very much like who he's related to, and but it's like it's not a secret. Everyone knows.
Mm-hmm.
Like just looking at him, looking at rank, looking at upper one, and looking at a certain individual, it's not hard to tell.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I think that's it for like movie talks. So yeah, we'll just kind of wait for the next movie. Um, I did have a couple things, well, really just like two other things I wanted to bring up. Because Phil would have really loved to have like done shout. Granted, he would have loved to have like been here and talked about how he felt about like Nintendo Direct, but I believe that will just have to be postponed for another week. But I will also say that we had an update on the NSO as far as the expansion pack. Two Game Boy Advance games popped up, and that's was it Mr. Driller 2 and Klonoa Empire of Dreams. Not much to say about Mr. Driller 2, but I think people were gonna pop off with Klonoa just showing up on NSO. It's a whole different property
Right.
there. So okay, that's pretty solid. That's coming out next week. So keep out.
Nintendo getting a dub.
Not bad. Meanwhile, the other thing I wanted to bring up actually, because this is kind of crazy, due to like the increase due to tariffs, right? Microsoft previously had increased sales pricing for the consoles. They done it once more.
Oh boy.
So I can give you the breakdown right here. So as far as the Series S consoles, it's kind of a lesser bump in pricing, but it is still a bump regardless. The 512 gigabyte Series S is now $400, just straight up. That's a $20 increase. It's the same thing with the terabyte one. That is going to be now $450. So it is the same price as the Nintendo Switch 2 at this point in time. Whether Xbox or Nintendo go up in price is an unknown, but I'm just telling you guys right now.
I can see it.
Xbox Series X get like a bigger bump in pricing. It's essentially $50 for the Series X digital. So essentially, it's like you kind of think about like the Series like
Yeah.
S originally.
Without the disk drive, yeah.
Yeah. So it's now Xbox Series X is now $600 as a digital only thing. Bless you.
Thank you.
And the Series X with the disk drive is going to be $650. Okay. And
$450.
and then the Series X 2 terabyte, that's the special Galaxy edition. That's now $800. That's a $70 disc. $800. You know, I hold on.
You didn't mention that before.
Yeah. Hold on. I got a little something. that means at a certain point, this little handheld that I have,
Oh, did you actually get it?
well, no, it's an older thing. This guy, the ROG Ally, right here. I believe this was $700, just like off the release date.
I
And
was gonna say,
so
is that the new handheld?
it's not the new one. No. That is still pending. That's still coming out in October, so we'll see how that plays out. But yeah, this was like $700 like when it released. It's now lower because they have like a newer model here. But yeah, no, it is kind of backwards when you look at that, like aging consoles like that one going up in price. But it's a different time, so I don't know what to say about that. It's just it is kind of bizarre.
You caught me very off guard with the $800.
Yeah, I was saying that like there are a couple of consoles that went up like for the Series X it's like $50, but there's also a $70 increase on one of them, and that's the 2 TB one.
I didn't realize because I was like, wait, I thought not a single Xbox had broken 700 yet.
Mm-hmm. Not a single one. Well, I mean they have now, but it's all due in part by like the 2 TB. So that's kind of the reason. I mean to have two
So I was like,
terabytes of
well, it's
storage
still.
inside.
I was like, it's still cheaper than a PS5 Pro. And you said $800. I was like,
Oh, my bad. So yeah, that is to say, PlayStation, I don't recall if they've done price increases yet for their consoles. They might, and it kind of depends, but you know, the otherwise the PlayStation 5 still kind of has like the what was it, the 450 and then the 500, unless they change that. You might have to correct me on that one, but PlayStation 5 Pro, by itself, which is already just an all digital like initially, unless you want to get the disc drive, which is like the extra like was it $80? Ugh. Uh, but otherwise it's
$80 for a disc tray, bro.
yeah.
I
Is
mean, I
otherwise
think it's cool if
750.
you can buy a disc tray. That's pretty cool, but $80?
Yeah, there's no bundle where it's
I
just
feel like you can
included.
make it for cheaper than that.
Yeah, like you could, you 100% could, but they had a strategy for that.
Like, I definitely feel like you could literally make the exact disc tray and still have it be under $80.
Well, the problem is that they had a digital and like a disc version of the PlayStation 5 already, and now like they've changed their like strategy where if you want to get a PlayStation 5 now, unless you go through third markets, it's only that PlayStation 5 digital, and then you still have to buy like the disc drive separately.
They said, hey, we know we're getting low on units, so we're going to give you ones that just run without a disc tray. You get it later.
Yeah. So I mean, like, sorry, that wasn't to like comment directly. I was just trying to say that Xbox is still kind of that's getting a little bit wonky because there was like an actual like bigger difference between Series S and like the Series X. But now it's kind of getting like it's a little bit weird now because Xbox Series X now has its own like digital tier. And if you compare them, it's still kind of like a $50 difference between the two, but like PlayStation completely has removed like that type of option. And I don't know. I have like my own personal like feelings about like digital versus like physical. But as far as like for pro consumer stuff, that's kind of it is a little grimy, but it's I don't know. I don't know.
It's like it's hard. It's getting hard to walk the line between pro consumer and just getting with the times. I feel
Yeah, I agree.
it's because unfortunately, while physical media, yes, is still an important thing to have, I will agree. I think people should have the choice to have their physical media.
Mhm.
It's also just becoming way more efficient. I feel for many just to be doing the digital stuff.
Mhm.
But I understand still why people want physical. I get it. Like I perfectly get it. It's just that I feel like it's a changing market.
I agree with that. And Phil would probably be in the same like mindset as well, understanding of it, but wanting like what he wants. So, I mean, this isn't really much of an Xbox versus PlayStation type of talk. It's more over, what are they kind of getting away with? But
It's like, what are they going to be allowed? They can't keep getting away with it.
PlayStation is trying to, but I don't know. I think I don't hear too much people talking about like that. Well, I mean, I guess like the heat of that debate has like really died down since then. So, I mean, people were really bringing it up. I mean, I brought it up too, where, you know, it would have made sense if it was just kind of built into it and just be a $50 like increase. But maybe the manufacturing there just isn't like good enough for them to just continue to like do that versus just give everyone like a blank slate of like a base PlayStation 5 that is just digital, but also give them like a physical disc like hard drive like later on. And that's just another like hardware addition, so they kind of have to charge for that just to make some profit out of that. But $80, when they previously had done like two different versions at $50 like difference, but now it's like $80 or something like that. It's tough. And Xbox is still kind of giving you that option. And as far as I can see it, it's still like a $50 difference between like physical versus digital. Well, the problem is that they've gone tariff because they kind of have to offset costs and everything like that. It's also kind of tough for me to personally like support like them because they say that they want to continue doing like physical like media, but it's like asterisks. It's a physical like box or case, but it has a code in there. So that's not necessarily. It's kind of like the key like game key card situation. It's not really. It's not really there, but I get what you're trying to do. But I also think that physical media does kind of conflict with what they want to do with the ecosystem as a whole, where you can play like literally anywhere and just follows you around. So I get it. But yeah, having said that though, even though I will still agree that as far as like anyone getting into video games, I think Game Pass still offers like a really good deal. Um, I would I think now I wouldn't really recommend people getting like the console unless you really, really, really want it. Because like with these increases in prices, like right now, that's kind of difficult for me to really go forward with that unless you aren't ever going to use a PC ever, which I think you do kind of want that. So for me, it's a PC or a Nintendo Switch/Switch 2. But also PlayStation is still holding their own, so I guess that's also fair too. But ultimately, all I wanted to do is share that we have the Xbox going up in price, so that does kind of impact how people are like looking at that. I think, and this is completely like my guess. I guess it's because of the fact that they have this ecosystem that they won't really feel that much of a damage towards like sales per se. Like maybe they'll just at this point like stop really focusing on like console sales and they'll focus on subscription sales instead. So I think it still kind of works in their favor, especially since we still got to hear news about like the pricing for their new collaborative branded handheld, which is the what looked like my little handheld, but it's just dubbed the what was it, the Xbox ROG Ally, or was
I
it the
believe so.
I think it's ROG Xbox Ally. I keep mixing it up, but yeah, something like that. There were some leaks about like rumors, I guess, about like the pricing there, but otherwise, until they officially like put it out there, then we don't really know. The worst part, Mark, is that they already have some competition. Lenovo is actually releasing an updated version of their handheld that's coming out in October as well, and the maxed out version of that one is $1,300. You can imagine that a lot of people aren't really that big on that. But to be fair, I guess to be fair, it's like 2K resolution with an OLED panel screen. So, and I guess it's like a 1 terabyte like entry model, like going upwards. So maybe I still can't really quite rational it out. Actually, here we go. I saw some like listings on like Best Buy and whatnot. Oh, 1350. My bad. An extra $50, just like the Xbox Series X consoles, I guess. Um, let's see. Oh, I think it's 32 gigabytes of RAM. That's actually not bad, but it's otherwise a 1 terabyte like internal storage. It has the new Ryzen Z2 Extreme, which is like a bump up from the Z1 Extreme from that RGI I just showed everybody. But it is high refresh like panel, 2K OLED. Which all would all that all sounds nice, but it adds up in the cost. But it is the Lenovo Legion Go 2. It's the one that I believe they split up like Joy-Cons, and you have like a mouse mode to it. So it is kind of cool like that, but at that price is kind of, I don't know, I might make a Tanuki video about that. We're starting to get there as far as like the premium like PC handheld experience. Maybe you should just get like a tower instead. Or a laptop, you know? If portable gaming's like your thing. But it's just getting like really expensive out there. But I think that's everything I had to share. Yeah, I think that's actually pretty solid timing too. So, all right, Mark. Unless there's anything else you want to bring up, I think we're good to go.
I've been playing the new Dragon Ball MOBA,
Oh, there was a new
Gekishin
thing.
Squadron.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
Gekishin Squadron. It's been pretty good.
Not bad. Not bad. Not bad. I
That's about it for right now.
I'm trying to remember. There was something else I wanted to bring. Oh, I had an update as far as like my progress. It's been a long time coming from someone who was just like really reluctant to try out and stay into like the free to play games, and I'm talking really just Hoyoverse games. I have finally like meet that max level in Honkai Star Rail specifically for your characters specifically. There's still the overall like leveling thing that you need to still like get to, but as far as like maxing out your characters, the level like max level is like 80. I was able to accomplish that with Saber, the collaborative like character. I still gotta work on Archer, but we'll get there.
Gotcha.
So it's like, man, dude, I've changed, but maybe not for the
You're
best
like,
because
what am I doing?
what am I doing? Like, oh, you know what? I totally forgot. There was a whole other thing, and I forgot to put time codes on this one. But that's otherwise okay. I'll just have to go back into it retroactively. I do have one pickup, and it's a game that it's my game for September actually. It is Trails in the Sky first chapter. Just to give you guys some like context, this is just the Nintendo Switch edition, but you can go into the eShop actually and get the upgraded Nintendo Switch 2 edition for like just $1. So I had some gold points and I just used it on that. So I am very much so looking forward to it. I fell in love with the first game when I tried it out. When I got that for like Steam, it was like a really cheap, like $7 at the time or 5. But you know, I think they do really well with the world building, and there's a lot of high praises for this version. So personally, I just recommend that for everybody. And that's my only pickup. So I just wanted to like put that out there, but I almost forgot about it.
The only pickup you got right now.
That's fair. I mean, I'm still trying to budget quite a bit. Oh shoot, that reminds me. Yeah, Phil's been gone for multiple weeks. Oh god. That means
Poor Phil.
no, that means we're in it for like 14 pickups one of these days.
Even then, that might be low, making it a little low on that count.
I got 17 games. I'm like, oh, maybe that's why he's not responding. He's got so many in the mail right now. He's like, oh, look at all these games, little Gabriel. Okay. All right. But all right, guys, we'll go ahead and wrap it up here then. Actually, you know what? Question mark. Was there any updates to the new spin-off for Jujutsu Kaisen? I saw additional like quote unquote
they've got up to
leaks.
chapter 3 so far.
Oh, okay. Is the thing about Sukuna true?
Sukuna has not appeared.
Okay. I don't. I at this
Unless
point.
unless you're asking if they say that he's on, that they say that it's a threat on par with Sukuna. That has been stated.
Oh, a threat? No. Like I was talking about the actual character himself. I think
No, Sukuna has not appeared.
okay. I think I'm just seeing a lot of like what could possibly be fake
Fake.
leaks.
Yeah, people love to do the fake leaks.
It's ridiculous. Did Yuji show up?
Honestly, that'd be dope. And I've seen a lot of fake leaks that do cool stuff like that, but I don't think. But if that happens, I don't think it's going to be till the end.
Okay, okay. I feel like that makes a little bit more sense then. Oh man, dude. These fake leaks are like getting a little too like clever with it. But all right.
They're getting very convincing looking.
Okay. We'll go ahead and wrap it up here, guys. Thank you all so much for tuning in for another episode of DangIT Prodcast. It's been 559 episodes here. My name is Justin.
Mark.
And thanks for watching, everybody. Hashtag bye, everybody.